Okay, so before discussing about the AC inhibitors agent, first we'll discuss about the SR points, right? The SR points of the ACE inhibitors, angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitors. Yesterday we have studied about how the angiotensin 1 is synthesized from angiotensinogen and angiotensin 2 is synthesized from angiotensin 1. So synthesis of angiotensin 1 from angiotensinogen, it is catalyzed by the your renin, and synthesis of angiotensin 2 from angiotensin 1, this reaction is catalyzed by ACE, that is angiotensin converting enzyme. So we will check out the SR point of these ACE inhibitors. As we know, there are two enzymes which are catalyze the reaction of angiotensinogen to the angiotensin 1 and angiotensin 1 to angiotensin 2. Which are the two enzymes? One is the renin and the another one is the ACE, that is angiotensin converting enzyme. So first we'll discuss about the SR point of the ACE inhibitors. So this is the basic structure of the ACE inhibitors. This is the basic structure on your left hand side of the ACE inhibitors. And this is the zinc binding group. This is the zinc binding group. The zinc binding group, either it may be a sulfhydryl or a carboxylic acid or a phosphinic acid. Right? So we'll discuss SR point one by one. So the nitrogen ring, it must contain a carboxylic acid. This nitrogen ring, either it is a pyridine or the pyrimidine ring, or any of the ring which contain the nitrogen atom. So this nitrogen ring, it must contain a carboxylic acid to mimic the C-terminal carboxylate of ACE substrate. So whatever. Now this is the drug. Now which one? This is the basic general structure of the ACE inhibitor, right? So this structure contains a ring, and that ring contain a nitrogen. So that ring should contain a carboxylic acid group. If it contains a carboxylic acid group, then it can mimic the C-terminal carboxylate of ACE substrate. Substrate means what? That is the substance which the substance which activate the enzyme, angiotensin converting enzyme, right? So we have to inhibit that enzyme. We have to inhibit that enzyme. So this drug compete with that substrate for binding to the ACE. So the structure of this drug should be similar with the structure of the substrate, and then mimic the structure. So this nitrogen ring that should contain a carboxylic acid group. Then large hydrophobic heterocyclic ring, that is the nitrogen ring, increase potency and alter pharmacokinetic parameters. Then the zinc binding group, it can either be a sulfhydryl group or a carboxylic acid group or a phosphonic acid group. Now the zinc binding group means what? The zinc is present over where? The zinc is present over your enzyme, that is the angiotensin converting enzyme. So this group, they bind to the your zinc atom which is present on the enzyme. The sulfhydryl groups show superior binding to zinc. The sulfhydryl group, this group show a superior binding to the zinc. The sulfhydryl containing compounds produce high incidence of skin rash and taste disturbances. If you check out most of the drug, when we consume the drugs, then later on it may produce some taste disturbance, right? Most of the time it may happen that if we consume the drugs, then the taste of our tongues it is get diminished. So these sulfhydryl containing compounds, they produce high incidence of the skin rash and the taste disturbance. Then the sulfhydryl containing compounds, they form dimers and the disulfides, which may shorten duration of action. So this is the metabolite of these ACE inhibitors. That is, those ACE inhibitors which contain sulfhydryl group, they can form dimers and the disulfide. And after forming the dimers and disulfide, it may shorten the duration of action of that particular drug. Then the next point is compound, that is the AC inhibitors, the compounds that bind to the zinc through either a carboxylate or phosphonate. They mimic the peptide hydrolysis transition state and they enhance binding. Then the next point of ACR is esterification of carboxylate or phosphonate. They produce an orally bioavailable prodrug. Then the next point is this X group. Okay, this X group. It is usually methyl to mimic the side chain of the alanine. Within the dicarboxylate series, when X equals N-butylamine, this produces a compound that does not require prodrug for the oral activity. When X is equal to N-butylamine, then it is a lysine side chain. Then it is a lysine side chain. Then this produces compound that does not require prodrug for the oral activity. Otherwise, other agents require prodrug for the activity. Then optimum activity occurs when stereochemistry of inhibitor is consistent with L-amino acid stereochemistry present in the normal substrates. So this is what the SR points of our ACE inhibitors. Then the mechanism of action. These ACE inhibitors, as we know, as we discussed in the earlier lecture, that they inhibit the conversion of angiotensin 1 to angiotensin 2 and the angiotensin 2 to the angiotensin 3. They do not interact with the other components of renin angiotensin system. So they interact only with this angiotensin converting enzyme. ACE inhibitors increase bradykinin levels, which in turn stimulate prostaglandin synthesis, which leads to the vasodilation. So yesterday we discussed about the bradykinin, that these ACE inhibitors, right? These ACE inhibitors, they also degrade the bradykinin, not ACE inhibitors. These ACE only, the angiotensin converting enzymes. Angiotensin converting enzyme, what they do? It convert the angiotensin 1 to the angiotensin 2, and simultaneously they degrade the bradykinin. Once the bradykinin is degraded, then vasodilation is get inhibited. So these ACE inhibitors, they increase the concentration of the bradykinin in the blood, and thereby it leads to the vasodilatory effect. Now we know these which are the ACE inhibitors. That is, there are two further subclassification of the ACE inhibitors. One is the sulfhydryl group containing ACE inhibitors, and the another one is the dicarboxylate group containing ACE inhibitors. There is third more class, that is a carboxylate group containing, but I think there is no any drug which is included in our syllabus. So there are two subclassifications, sulfhydryl and the dicarboxylate group containing ACE inhibitors. The sulfhydryl group containing ACE inhibitors is the captopril, whereas the dicarboxylate group containing ACE inhibitors is the lisinopril and the perindopril. So the first agent is the captopril. So this is the structure of the captopril. Okay. Now this captopril, it contains the carboxylic acid group. It contains carboxylic acid group, and the name of the ring is the pyrrolidine ring. As we have discussed in the SR point, that the nitrogen ring fused with a heteroaromatic ring, and of course that ring contains a carboxylic acid group. So we have discussed this point in the SAR. So we will start with IUPAC nomenclature. So this is the pyrrolidine ring. So of course the numbering of the pyrrolidine start from this nitrogen. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. That is the numbering is from the numbering is the clockwise. So 1 dash of this pyrrolidine, 1 dash. Then how many carbons are there in straight chain? 1, 2, 3. 3 carbons are there in a straight chain. 1, 2, 3. So on second carbon there is a methyl group. So 1 dash, 2 methyl, 3 sulfanyl, then propanoyl. 3 carbons are there, right? So it is a propanoil because there is a carbon oxygen double bond on this first position. So it is a propanoil. Then pyrrolidine 2 carboxylic acid. This is the IUPAC nomenclature of the captopril, right? So the captopril, as we know, these are the SE inhibitors. So they block the conversion of angiotensin 1 to the angiotensin 2 by inhibiting the ACE. The rational development of captopril as an inhibitor of ACE was based on the hypothesis that ACE and carboxypeptidase A they function by a similar mechanism. Instead of talking about this, I will turn slide to the next slide. That how the captopril was developed. First, we will discuss about how the captopril was developed. Then we will come to that slide, the structure slide of the captopril. So, dear students, make a note that the development of captopril make a star mark to this question. How the captopril was developed? It is this question is asked so many times in the question paper, in the semester question paper. So make this as a star mark. That is the development of captopril. Okay. So how the captopril is developed? So the scientist was found that the venom of the South American pit viper it contains some factors. So what scientists found? That is they found the venom of the South American pit viper, that is the snake venom. It contains some factor which potentiate the action of the bradykinin. So what is the action of bradykinin? It shows the vasodilatory effect. Now this factor originally designated as bradykinin potentiating factors. Okay, the name of this factor is called as bradykinin potentiating factors. Their action in potentiating bradykinin were subsequently linked to their ability to inhibit the enzymatic degradation of the bradykinin. So, what the scientists found, that is the venom of the South American pit viper. It contains some factor. The name of the factor is the bradykinin potentiating factors. So, what they factor do? These factors, that is a bradykinin potentiating factor, they inhibit the degradation of the bradykinin. Thereafter, they reported that these peptides or these factors also inhibit the enzymatic conversion of angiotensin 1 to the angiotensin 2, and this latter called as the ACE. Okay, that factor, which factor? That is a bradykinin potentiating factor. What the scientists initially found, that this bradykinin potentiating factor they inhibit the enzymatic degradation of the bradykinin. Later on, the scientists found that this factor also inhibit the enzymatic conversion of angiotensin 1 to the angiotensin 2. So later on, they give the name to this factor as a ACE, angiotensin converting enzyme. Now it is now known to be identical with the former bradykininase enzyme, that is the kinase 2. Even at the time of these initial discoveries, however, bradykinin potential factors were seen as lead compound for the development of new hypertensive agent. So the scientists found these two effects. The first effect, that it inhibit the degradation of bradykinin, and also it inhibit the conversion of angiotensin 1 to the angiotensin 2. So what the scientists has discovered, that is they took this lead compound as a bradykinin potentiating factors. They took this lead compound for the development of the new antihypertensive agent because it shows dual activities. First is the inhibition of the degradation of bradykinin, which is acting as a potent vasodilator, and inhibition of the biosynthesis of the angiotensin 2, which is a potent vasoconstrictor. So, a nonapeptide called as SQ20881, also called as the teprotoid. This nonapeptide, this peptide linkage, it is isolated from this original bradykinin potentiating factors and had the greatest in vivo potency in inhibiting ACE. So this nonapeptide, that is the SQ20881, this nonapeptide, it is isolated from the bradykinin potentiating factors, and this nonapeptide only have the greatest potency to inhibit the ACE, and was shown to consistently lower blood pressure in patients with essential hypertension. It also exerted beneficial effect in patients with heart failure. However, because of its peptide nature and lack of oral activity, this SQ20881 had limited activity in the therapeutic treatment of these diseases. Then, this is the structure of the SQ20881. Yes, this is the structure of the SQ20881. This is what? This is also called as a teprotoid, and this is isolated from the bradykinin potentiating factors. Okay, so the group of scientists use this SQ20881 and other peptide analogs to provide an enhanced understanding of the enzymatic properties of the ACE. Okay, so the group of scientists, what they do, they have studied more about this SQ20881 peptide analog to provide the understanding about the enzymatic properties of ACE. Using knowledge of substrate binding specificities and the fact that ACE has properties similar to those of the pancreatic carboxypeptidases. Okay, researchers found a similarity between the ACE and a pancreatic enzyme carboxypeptidase. These researchers developed a hypothetical model of the enzyme active site. Carboxypeptidase A, like ACE, is a zinc containing exopeptidase. The binding of a substrate to carboxypeptidase A involves three major interactions. So, to summarize this paragraph, that is what scientists did, that is they isolated SQ20881 from the bradykinin potentiating factors, but they have to know how this SQ20881 act on the ACE enzyme. So later on they found the ACE has similar properties to those of the pancreatic carboxypeptidase enzyme. Okay, they found that the pancreatic carboxypeptidase enzyme is similar to those of the ACE. So the researchers developed a hypothetical model of the enzyme active site, that is the carboxypeptidase A enzyme and the ACE enzyme. Okay, so two enzymes are there. One is the carboxypeptidase A enzyme and the another one is the ACE enzyme. So they found that how the substrate bind to these both of the enzymes. So they found three major interactions in between the substrate and the carboxypeptidase A and the substrate and the ACE. So which of the three major interactions? So these are given over here. So these are the three major interactions. The first interaction is the negatively charged. Now, if you check out the structure, now this is the structure of the carboxypeptidase A, and this is the structure of the ACE. Okay, on the left hand side carboxypeptidase A, and on the right hand side ACE. Okay, so they found three major interactions or the three similar interactions. The first interaction is the negatively charged carboxylate terminus of the amino acid substrate. Okay, the negatively charged carboxylate terminus of the amino acid substrate, it bind to the positively charged arginine 145 on the enzyme. Okay, so here over here arginine 145. So this is what, this is the carboxypeptidase A enzyme. So this carboxypeptidase A enzyme contain the arginine 145 residues. So to those of these arginine 145 residues, they bind to this positively charged arginine 145 by the ionic bond. So this is the first interaction. That is, the negatively charged carboxylate terminus of the amino acid substrate bind to the positively charged arginine 145 on the enzyme. So this is the first interaction. That is how the carboxypeptidase A bind to the substrate. Then second, a hydrophobic pocket. Now this is the hydrophobic pocket in the enzyme. It provides specificity for C-terminal aromatic or the non-polar residue. So this hydrophobic pocket which is present in the enzyme. So this pocket gives area for the aromatic ring of the structure or the substrate. Then the third interaction is the zinc atom. It is located close to the labyl peptide bond. Okay, so this zinc atom, the third interaction is what? The zinc atom which is located close to the labyl peptide bond and serves to stabilize the negatively charged tetrahedral intermediate. Okay, this zinc atom, the zinc atom of the enzyme, it the zinc atom bind to the labyl peptide bond. After binding to this labyl peptide bond by the zinc atom, it stabilizes this negatively charged tetrahedral intermediate, which results when a molecule of water attacks the carbonyl bond between the C terminal and the pentatonic amino acid residues. So in short, when the zinc atom binds to this labyl peptide bond, it stabilizes the tetrahedral intermediate. So these are the three interactions the researchers found. That is when the carboxypeptidase A enzyme, interact with the substrate. Okay. Similarly, the binding of the substrate to the ACE. Now this is what? This is your carboxypeptidase A enzyme. Now this is the ACE enzyme, and this is your substrate. So similarly, the binding of substrate to ACE was proposed to involve 3 or 4 major interactions. Over here, there was 3 interactions. First one, this ionic interaction, and one is the binding of zinc to the labyl peptide bond. Now over here, they found 3 to 4 major interactions between ACE and the substrate. First, the negatively charged carboxylate terminus of the angiotensin 1. Now over here the substrate is what? That's the angiotensin 1. As we know, the ACE convert angiotensin 1 to the angiotensin 2. So the first interaction is what? That is the negatively charged carboxylate terminus of angiotensin 1 and other substrate was assumed to occur via ionic bond with the positively charged amine on ACE. Okay, so this is the first interaction. Wait for a second. So what is the first interaction? That is the negatively charged carboxylate terminus. It bind to the positively charged amine on the ACE. So this is the first interaction. The second one is what? That is the role of the zinc atom in the mechanism of ACE hydrolysis. The second interaction is what? That is the role of the zinc atom. This zinc atom, the second interaction is what? The role of the zinc atom in the mechanism of ACE hydrolysis was assumed to be similar to those of the carboxypeptidase A. That is, this zinc atom bind to this carboxyl oxygen to the means in short the zinc atom bind to the labyl peptide bond. The interaction is same. These two interactions is same. The interaction between the carboxypeptidase A and the substrate and the interaction between the ACE and substrate is same. These two interactions. The first one is the ionic interaction and the second one is the interaction of zinc with this carbonyl oxygen. Then the third one is what? The side chains R1 and the R2. They contribute to the overall binding affinity. So these additional binding side chains R1 and R2, they contribute to the binding to the enzyme. Okay, so this R1 and R2 is important for strong interaction between the substrate and the enzyme. Okay, and the last one, the fourth interaction, is what? The terminal peptide bond. Okay, the terminal peptide bond is non-labial and was assumed to provide hydrogen bonding between the substrate and the ACE. Okay, so these are the four interactions in between the ACE and the substrate, and there are three interactions in between the carboxypeptidase A and the substrate. So if you found that there are few interactions are same, the first interaction is the ionic interactions, the second interaction is the zinc interaction, then the third interaction is what? Over here there is a hydrophobic pocket. It contains the aromatic ring. That aromatic ring are easily occupied by the hydrophobic pocket of the enzyme, and in this there are the R1 and R2 group. So this group either aliphatic or the aromatic, so they can also bind to the enzyme. Okay, and the last one is the hydrogen bonding site. The last interaction is what? That is a hydrogen bonding site. And now you can familiar about the you are familiar about the hydrogen bonding, that how the hydrogen bonding takes place. So that is the fourth interaction, the hydrogen bonding. So there are four interactions between the ACE and the substrate. So the development of the captopril and other orally active ACE inhibitors, it began with the observation that D2-benzyl succinic acid was an extremely potent inhibitor of the carboxypeptidase A. Okay, so if you check out this structure, so the substrate is what? Either it is a D2-benzyl succinic acid. So the researchers found that this D2-benzyl succinic acid, it inhibit this carboxypeptidase A enzyme. So the development of the captopril development is began with the observation that D2-benzyl succinic acid was an extremely potent inhibitor of carboxypeptidase A enzyme. The binding of this compound to carboxypeptidase A is very similar to that seen for substrate, with the exception that the zinc ion bind to carboxylate group instead of the labial peptide bond. So the interactions are same as were discussed earlier. That is that D2-benzyl succinic acid bind to this carboxypeptidase A by that three interactions which were discussed earlier. Then the researchers proposed that this compound is a byproduct analog that contains structural features of both products of peptide hydrolysis. Most of the structural features of the compounds are identical to the terminal amino acid of the substrate. So applying this concept to the hypothetical model of ACE, which is described earlier, it resulted in the synthesis and evaluation of a series of succinic acid derivatives, so which is given in the figure. Okay, now this is what? This is the D2-benzyl succinic acid, and this is how D2-benzyl succinic acid inhibit the carboxypeptidase A enzyme. So based on the observation of this D2-benzyl succinic acid, the researchers developed another succinic acid derivatives which inhibit the ACE enzyme, right? Because this D2-benzyl succinic acid, it inhibit the carboxypeptidase A enzyme. What we want to inhibit this ACE enzyme or the angiotensin converting enzyme. So what the researchers did, that is, they use this analog as the D2-benzyl succinic acid, and by using this analog they synthesize another succinic acid derivatives, and these succinic acid derivatives inhibit the ACE, that is the angiotensin converting enzyme. The first applying this concept to the hypothetical model of ACE, which is described earlier, resulted in the synthesis and evaluation of a series of succinic acid derivatives, because proline was present in the C-terminal amino acid in SQ20881 as well as in other potent inhibitory snake venom peptides. It was included in the structure of newly designed inhibitors. If you check the structure of the SQ20881, right now this is the structure of the SQ20881. Now this structure contains the proline ring. So these all are the proline ring, the 5-membered ring fused with the nitrogen. So these all are the proline ring. So applying this concept, the researchers developed these ACE inhibitors, and that ACE inhibitor should contain the proline ring, because the SQ20881 contain proline ring, and as we know, as we discussed, that SQ20881, it is what? It is peptide, and that peptide is isolated from the bradykinin potentiating factors. And this SQ20881, it inhibits the degradation of the bradykinin, and also it inhibits the conversion of angiotensin 1 to the angiotensin 2. So by taking that SQ20881, by taking the structure of the SQ20881, by taking the structure into consideration of the SQ20881, the researchers developed the ACE inhibitors which contain the proline ring. So the first inhibitor to be synthesized and tested was the succinyl L-proline, which is given in figure 23.6. So this is the succinyl L-proline. Now if you check the structure of this one and this one, so both the structures are same, except to this nitrogen there is a heteroaromatic ring is fused, and that heteroaromatic ring is attached by the carboxylic acid group. So we have discussed this point in the SAR, right? That the nitrogen is fused with the heteroaromatic ring, and also that ring contains the carboxylic acid group. Okay, so the first inhibitor which was synthesized and tested was succinyl L-proline. This compound proved to be somewhat disappointing, although it provided reasonable specificity for ACE. It was only approximately 1 by 500 as potent as SQ20881. So that succinyl L-proline drug, when they have synthesized this drug, so it shows some disappointing effect. It shows only effect 1 by 500, 1:500 effect if we compare this succinyl L-proline with the SQ20881. So the potency is very less. Then one of the most important alteration to succinyl L-proline was the replacement of the succinyl carboxylate with other groups having enhanced affinity for the zinc atom bound to the ACE. So the replacement of this carboxylate with sulfhydryl group produced 3-mercaptopropanol L-proline. So this one, 3-mercaptopropanol L-proline. So latter compound which are synthesis by the replacement of this carboxylate group to the sulfhydryl group results in the formation of this compound, which is a little bit more potent as compared to the succinyl L-proline. This compound has a half maximal inhibitory concentration value of 200 nanomole per liter and is greater than 1000-fold more potent than the succinyl L-proline. So it is 1000-fold more potent if we compare this structure with the succinyl L-proline. Additionally, it is 10 to 20-fold more potent than SQ20881. So this structure is more potent than SQ20881. Then addition of a 2D methyl group further enhance activity. The resulting compound captopril is a competitive inhibitor of ACE and was the first ACE inhibitor to be marketed. So this is the first marketed drug. This is the first marketed drug. What is the difference between these two structures? That is, they insert D2 methyl group, results in the formation of the captopril, and which is very most potent drug. Then sulfhydryl group of captopril cause two most common side effect. That is, as we have already discussed, that this sulfhydryl group, sulfhydryl containing the ACE inhibitors, they show two side effects. One is the skin rashes and the another one is the taste disturbances. The side effect usually is subsided on dosage reduction or discontinuation of the captopril. So this is how the captopril is developed. Okay, now we will come to this earlier slide. Now we will discuss about this slide. So now you will understand that what we have discussed earlier. So we have discussed already the IUPAC nomenclature of the captopril. Now this captopril, it blocks the conversion of angiotensin 1 to angiotensin 2 by inhibiting the ACE enzyme. The rational development of captopril as an inhibitor of ACE was based on the hypothesis that ACE and carboxypeptidase A function by similar mechanism. So as we already discussed, that is the binding of substrate to ACE as well as the binding of substrate to carboxypeptidase A. It is somehow same. There are 3 to 4 interactions are same. And hence, by taking the consideration of the substrate of the binding of substrate to carboxypeptidase A, the researchers developed a model of the substrate to ACE as well as substrate to carboxypeptidase A. So later on, they found these interactions, and they found these both the enzymes they function similarly with the substrate. It was noted that D2-benzyl succinic acid was a potent inhibitor of the carboxypeptidase A, but not to the ACE. So, as we already discussed, that is the interaction of the D2-benzyl succinic acid with the carboxypeptidase A. It inhibits that enzyme, but it does not inhibit the ACE enzyme. So, the researchers taken the analog of the D2-benzyl succinic acid and they derivatized that D2-benzyl succinic acid, and they synthesize some succinic acid derivatives, and that succinic acid derivatives inhibit the ACE. By use of this small molecule as a prototype, captopril was designed with the carboxyl group on a proline, and a thiol group was introduced to enhance the binding to the zinc ion of the ACE. So, how the captopril was developed, we have already discussed. Okay. So, the important binding points at the active site of ACE are thought to be an. So, which are the binding point of the substrate to the ACE? The first one is the arginine residue, which provides a cationic site that attracts a carboxylate ion. So, this is the first binding point on the ACE, that is the arginine residue. As we already discussed, that is the carboxyl ion. They interact with this arginine residue by forming a ionic bond. Then the second interaction is what? That is the binding of the zinc ion to the labile peptide bond. And the third interaction is what? That is a hydrophobic pocket on the enzyme. Hydrophobic pocket on the enzyme, they can accommodate the aromatic ring of the substrate. So these are the binding interactions of the substrate with the ACE.